welcome back to TubeTalk.
No, there you are, Doug. Wondered where you were. You're back.
Silly.
How's your week, mate?
Yeah, mate, pretty good, mate. Yeah, mate, pretty good. Thinking about how the Crusaders are going to lose Super Rugby for the fourth time in a row.
Yeah, you think the Blues will beat the Crusaders?
No way. Both teams are bad.
Well, they're playing each other. Someone's got to win.
Could be a draw.
Hurricanes forever. All right, mate. Let's get into racing.
Yeah. Before we start last week, Turn Me Loose Colt. That in the Turn Me Loose Colt, there's still shares available in it, apparently.
There is, and you might see a video of him walking if Chopper has put it in here where I put my finger or somewhere around the screen. Yeah, look at this horse. What a gorgeous walker. Great head on him, almost a stallion's head. Just a beautiful, powerful type. I know Stephen Marsh has got the full sister, 2-year-old older sister, and he thinks it's a group horse. He thinks it could potentially be one of the best, if not the best, potential 3-year-old filly in his stable. He loves it, and he was very instrumental in us buying this horse. And we've still got some shares available. So look, he's not expensive, about $5.5 grand for a 5% share. And if you like this horse, I encourage you to give Stephen Marsh a call and ask him what he thinks of it, because he's in raptures about it. So do that, get involved, and we'll win some very good races with him. 2,000 guineas horse, Correcting William horse, 3-year-old. We'll win those 2 races with him.
Moving on to last week, Atishu was a good winner there.
She was a really good win. She's already stakes placed. We expect she's actually our shortest price horse ever winning. She paid $1.30. Tracked into the race nicely. Maintained a really strong gallop, and while she only won by a neck, there was 8.5 lengths back to the third horse. They're in 122 for 1,400 metres on a dead 5. Danielle said she always had the other horse covered. She looks really, really smart filly. She now heads to Riccarton. She'll run over 1,400 metres on the 27th. 2 weeks later, she'll run a listed mile. 2 weeks later, listed 2,000 metres. Very good filly.
Skyman was very unlucky on Sunday.
Yarra Valley Cup. He got in the trail, and unfortunately the leader didn't take it into the race. So as they came around the home turn, the winner shot away, put 4 lengths on them. He couldn't get out. By the time he got out, 200 metres to go, it was too late. He closed the deficit to 3/4 of a length to run second. Certainly beaten. If he'd gone out, he would have won. And he's next up, 3rd of April, in a Group 3 2,000 metre race at Caulfield with 160,000. He is a very good horse.
Very unlucky there.
Yeah.
Moving on to this week, we have all of these are on Saturday, 3 in New Zealand and 3 in Australia.
We do 6 runners.
Yeah, starting at Tauranga race 5, we have Hasbro.
Last start winner, and we backed him, didn't we, Doug?
We did.
And how did we celebrate?
What did we celebrate?
We had a burger fuel burger.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We didn't tell Mum about it.
Naughty.
Naughty. So he, scratched last week from Auckland Cup Day because of a wide draw. He's got a wide draw again, barrier 10, but he'll run over a mile. He tends to roll forward in his races, but he doesn't have to lead. But he'll probably roll forward, find a spot somewhere. Sam Spratt on board is good, and he's got to be a very good winning chance again, I think. Just whether he gets caught wide is probably the key. Has won at Tauranga before.
And then race 8, we have 2 horses in this. We have Rip 'em Up, firstly.
So Rip 'em Up, going really well. Was scratched from Auckland Cup Day last week because she drew barrier 20. She got midfieldish barrier this week. I think there'll be a lot of speed in the race. There's a few leaders, and there's a lot of apprentices riding. They tend to just go nuts, and then their horses stop in races like this. So she should get a nice sort of run, I think, somewhere midfield. And the way she's going at the moment, she's in super form. She's looking for the step up in ground. I think she'll be very hard to beat.
And Deal's done.
Deal's done. He won a couple of starts back. In his last 2 runs, he's actually going better than he looks. He's one of those funny horses. If things don't quite go his way, he just kind of has a small think about things. But I think he'll be I don't think he'll be in front, but I think there'll be 3 or 4 go nuts, and I think he'll probably sit just behind them, probably in front of Rip 'Em Up, bowling along. 2100 metres really suits him. He's run well at Tauranga before, and I think he's also a winning chance in this race.
And moving on to Australia, firstly at the Gold Coast race 6, we have Secret Sweet.
Fresh up, we scratched him on Wednesday because of a heavy track. It's probably going to be heavy again this Saturday with 1400s. It's a bit of a bugger, but we want to get him started, so he'll probably run. He's come up superbly well. His trial was excellent. The 1400 metres is too short for him. The heavy track won't suit either, but it'll be a starting point for him. I would normally say with these conditions, he's not really a top 3 chance, but just the way how well he's come up, he could sneak into. He wouldn't be surprised to see him sneak into the top 3 somewhere.
Eagle Farm race 6, we have Stardo.
Up to 2200 metres, which really suits him. Awkward barrier drawn a bit wide, so how he positions up is going to be important. Getting some cover is going to be important, and that'll all depend on how he jumps. But the distance certainly suits him. He's come back well, and he's a good each way chance. So I think he's pretty progressive this preparation. I think we'll see him go through to open class actually. And I think he'll improve for it. He's jumping from a mile to 2200, so it's a pretty big jump, but I think he'll improve for it.
And then at Rosehill race 9, we have Miss Sentimental.
Sorry, I think he's jumping from 1800 to 2200, but yes, Miss Sentimental. So she's in the Opponent Stakes Group 3, and she's badly weighted because she's a Group 1 winner, so she gets 59 kilos, most of the other horses have 54, so that's a negative, and she's got a wide draw, also a negative. However, the track looks like it's going to be wet, looks like it's going to be heavy, and she's been crying out for a wet track, and her first 2 lead-up runs, she's been crying out for more ground. So the 1900 metres suits, the heavy track will suit, and we've got Hugh Bowman on board, and that will suit as well. So all those three things combined, I think we should see an improved run from her. I think we'll see her really hitting the line, even though she's got that big weight, and I think it'll set her up really nicely for her next start over a bit more ground. But I expect to see her run a big improvement.
And now we got Bit of the Week.
Your favourite segment?
Well, everyone's favourite segment, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So we actually have 2. And
well, hang on, what happened last week?
last week we got a first and then a third, so very unlucky we didn't get one that.
We needed the exact first and second at 10 to 1. First and third, we were close.
Would have been like how much money?
It was paying $9.90.
So we probably would have got like maybe 90.
Like put $10 on that, it'll be $99.
Yeah. So this week Albert has put 2 bit of the weeks, which I said was cheating, but
He wanted me to pick one, but
Yeah.
did.
well, I guess yeah, people can waste their money.
But why did we pick 2?
We picked 2 because we wanted to have one in New Zealand and one in Australia,
Correct.
because it kind of followed the theme of the this week's. Anyway, the first one is on Saturday at Rosehill, race 1. We have Prague.
Yeah, so I quite like this horse. 1200 metres, he ran 4th in the Newmarket at Flemington in Group 1 last start. Came from well back in the field. He was back in the running, hit the line really well. And I think back to Rosehill suits. I think a wet track suits. He's going to like a heavy track. Tommy Berry on board. I think he's paying $6. I think that's good money. I think he's a really nice winning chance, dropping in grade a little bit on a wet track.
And for the one in New Zealand, we have a multi at Trentham. So basically, we're picking 2 different horses from 2 races.
And they've both got to win.
And then if they both win, ka-ching.
Yes,
So it's a multi at Trentham on Saturday. Race 4 is Waisaki.
Yep.
And then race 5 is Coventina Bay.
Nice. Yeah, look, I think Waisaki is thrown into St. Leger, 2,600 metres. He's a Wellington Cup winner. Obviously, absolutely no problem with that. With that distance, the set weights and penalties with only 56 kilos, I think he's absolutely thrown in. So I think he is a very good bet. Coventina Bay at weight for age in the Cuttle Stakes looks an absolute clear standout to win that race. So you multi them up, you get about $4.30. So I thought there were two horses that would probably end up in the red are paying under $2. So I think get on now. I think Commentator Bay may have shortened up already. So there you go. We've got a $6 shot and $4.30 shot. So let's see how we get on with those two.
Yes, and that is TubeTalk.
And we shall see you all next week.
Bye.
Over on the outside, Fancy Pants as they swing into the straight with 4.50 to go, and they're followed by Native Rain and Blints and Lamere back in about 6 facing beat. Take it out in the clear, she's good enough, and Blints is the one that's going up to Bayadere at the 250 metre mark, but in a stride. You've got to see this filly to believe her. She's just said goodbye. She's put 2 lengths on them in one flash, a twinkling of the eye. She's got 4 lengths on them, and Lamere's away, home and hosed as she goes to the line. She's out on her own, 4 lengths clear. Here's